Hi, welcome to Tile and Cork. We are Amy and Josh, and we moved from Austin, Texas to Lisbon, Portugal last year with our two kids. We are here sharing our experiences about moving abroad with you. Now, if you are thinking of moving abroad or just want to see more of our videos, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel so you can be notified about future videos. And also, if you want to see more of our life here in Portugal, you can follow us on Instagram at Tile and Cork. So today, we are talking about the reasons why Americans leave Portugal. So we are in Facebook groups and we hear all the time about people deciding to leave Portugal. I don't know if there's even some stat about what percentage of Americans leave after 2 years or before being here for 2 years. I tried to find that stat and I could not. But there is a percentage of people that leave, and there are reasons for that. We wanted to talk about the reasons why Americans may leave Portugal.
Some of this is based on our own experience. We have not left. We don't have plans to leave. And some of the things that we've done is been preventative measures to make sure we don't have to leave. But, some of these things do come from people we know that have had to go back or move to another country outside of Portugal. But, obviously, it just not everything works out for everyone. And so we'd like to address it so maybe you can be prepared.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we want to do this video is to let you guys know, because if you are here or if you are thinking of moving to Portugal, you might want to evaluate, like, would any of these reasons apply to you? Like, is it something you should look into further, or is it something you should try to mitigate before a move to make sure that your move is permanent?
Okay, first of all, let's get these people out of the way.
All right, who are those people, Josh?
The people who never planned on staying here in the first place, which is fine.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
If you're already your intention is to move here and then leave, then that's your plan.
Yeah, and
good on you.
Yeah, some people decide that their move abroad is only going to be temporary. They might move for the experience, just to do it for a couple of years, see what life is like living in another country. They might do it, for school or for work, and really only plan on it being temporary. And that's fine if that is your goal. And that is a very good reason why people, Americans, may not spend that long in Portugal, might move after a year, 2, 3, because they go in knowing it's temporary. So the second reason why Americans may leave Portugal, or honestly any place they move to, is
family.
Family. That is a huge reason why people decide to move back home.
Right. We have 2 kids here, and we may decide to leave them here and we move back.
No,
that's not what we're talking about.
No, but I think obviously there's a lot of people who move and then they wind up really missing their family. Maybe they live close to their family for whatever reason.
Right.
They decide to move back home because they miss being around family. I think,
Also, family can have health reasons.
Yes, absolutely. Right. I know somebody who moved back to the U.S. because of parental health reasons. Their parents were getting older and they, decided, like, okay, we're going to move back because of this reason. And then there's also people who move back because maybe they're retired and then maybe their kids start having grandkids, or they miss being around their grandkids and want to be around their grandkids. So they decide that, being so far away from their grandkids isn't what they want at this stage of life either. So they decide, we had a fun experience abroad, but we really miss being around family. We're going to move back for family. So the third reason why people might move away from Portugal is that their job situation changes. Now, we know a lot of people moved here on digital nomad visas where maybe they were working remotely for a US company, but a lot of those companies have had layoffs. Different things happen with a job where the situation changes. So
I would say more people, even, before, more people were here on regular work visas. They worked for a job that had an office here or something like that. And we've seen some of those people have to go.
I've certainly heard a lot of people who worked for a U.S. company, but were working here in Portugal on the digital nomad visa and got laid off or
had to return to work.
Return to office.
Right.
That was a big thing.
Right. We know somebody who had to go back to work in the United States. And
Yeah.
they were disappointed, but that was why and how they got to to be here.
Yeah, so I think that's one situation, obviously, for a lot of people is if they, lose the job that allowed them to remote work, or if they had to return to office, and they don't have another way to support themselves in Portugal, then that might be a reason why they need to leave Portugal and either move back to the U.S. or move to another country to get a different job. So, yeah. Okay, so
I would say this one, but I literally can't say this word. So.
Okay, so the next reason, and a huge reason why a lot of Americans leave Portugal, is the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy. It is a huge complaint because as people from the US, we are used to things working a very particular way. And when you move to another country and you are learning the systems in that new country where things are working differently, it can be hard to adapt.
We may think the working with the government systems in the United States, typically like the DMV, that things do not run efficiently, but we do kind of expect them to have some sort of sense of customer service, that there are rules and guidelines that they will follow, and you have someone you can talk to. If it doesn't happen, it will happen quickly. It's not necessarily the case here, right?
Yeah, I think, too, like, obviously, if you don't speak Portuguese or, working on learning the language, it can be really hard when you're going to a government office to try to communicate. And so that can be frustrating for some people, where they are really just trying to understand, too, like what they need and what next steps they need to take. And so I think, and a lot of times you can go to an office several times before you get whatever you actually need resolved. So I think
there's no asking for a manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Type of thing.
I think it's frustrating for a lot of people. And I think one of the big things that was frustrating for a lot of people was people would have expired residency cards and couldn't get appointments for a year or so and were having to stay in the country. And so that frustrated a lot of people too. So I think just the whole bureaucracy part of things.
If you're immigrating here like we did, the immigration system grew so quickly that the system was overwhelmed here and continues to be overwhelmed. And there are peaks and valleys. There are times that things get cleared pretty quickly and other times they're very slow. We've been kind of surprised at how long some things have taken, and then others, like driver's license, which I thought was going to take forever, only took about 2 months to get. It's one of those things too about adjusting your expectations and thinking, when do I really need this thing? When am I going to be driving? When do I plan to leave the country? Do I need my residency card right away? And then, trying to minimize the number of times you're bothering something, because that just slows down the whole process even more.
Yeah, so I think that's one way to mitigate being frustrated by bureaucracy is obviously go to the appointments, do what you need to do, be prepared, but also just understand that things might take several tries and a long time to actually make happen what you want to have happen. So, yeah.
Go with the flow, reset your expectations, and then and also think about what is your true motivation for following up on what's going on with, the government office.
Okay, the next reason why Americans may leave Portugal is they come in with unreasonable expectations, or just kind of picture Portugal as beaches and being on vacation all the time, and that's not true. So moving to another country doesn't mean being on vacation all the time. It still means that you're dealing with doctor's appointments, taxes. If you have kids, you're dealing with your kids' homework. You're still dealing with like we just mentioned, going to all these government offices, dealing with things, doctor's appointments, all of that. Like, you're still living life just in another country. And so
you have to think these things through. It's not just a fairy tale ending and that's it, for the rest of your time. There's always stuff to do. There's always new encounters. And it's just a new way to experience your life. As a matter of fact, we try to make a plan to go out and experience a city, say once a week. And that doesn't always happen.
Because we still have dropping kids off at school, going to the grocery store, going to appointments, work.
We have unexpected things. The kids get sick, or there's a strike or something like that. It doesn't happen very often, but we have to make time to go explore and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say that moving abroad isn't wonderful, because obviously we're very happy doing it.
Right.
But
And the everyday is exciting.
yeah, I mean, we do sit in cafes outdoors. We do walk along beautiful streets,
Hmm.
but it's not just that with no worries. Like when you're on vacation,
Right.
you typically are escaping. You're escaping parts of your life. You're escaping your day-to-day
Right.
tasks and chores and stuff. And when you move abroad, it's not an escape from those things. It's just doing it in a different place. So I think you have to come in with reasonable expectations and not expect that moving abroad is just a vacation.
Hmm.
Okay, and the last reason why, I mean, this is just our list. Obviously, there's more reasons, but the last reason on our list of why Americans may leave Portugal is that they moved to the wrong place in Portugal. So this, you might be like, what? But yeah, there are people that move here and move to one city, do not like it, don't feel like they fit in, like it is not their place. And I know people who have thought about leaving Portugal completely, but then they decide to try out another place in Portugal and wind up loving it and just realize, what, that other place just wasn't for them. So there are people that might maybe think like, oh, I really want to live close to the beach. And they live close to the beach and realize like a city life is more for them. Or I know a lot of people have this dream of like moving here, buying like a small quinta, a farm, and kind of living, in the middle of nowhere. And then they run into a lot of issues with the renovation, and they realize like kind of being isolated like that in a new country isn't really for them. And so I think it really just depends, like I think it is important that you find your right place in Portugal as well. And some people don't want to take the time to do that because obviously that's a lot of time and expense. And so they might try a place or two that just aren't right for them.
Right.
And so they move back, they leave Portugal for either a different country or to move back to the US.
If you can, rent a place.
I think that's a huge recommendation.
Rent a place until you find your place.
Yeah, because then you're not tied to, housing prices and selling a place that maybe wasn't right for you. Renting allows you to gives you more flexibility in finding your place in Portugal. So these are all reasons why Americans may leave Portugal and why it's really important to do your research before you make the move someplace. So I think, it's so important to find your right place, know what you're getting into, have reasonable expectations, and
I was
coming in.
about to say that.
But I do want to say too, like there are people that move knowing that one of these reasons we listed will be a reason that they wind up leaving one day. We know that there are people that move here knowing that their family is going to bring them back to the US one day, or that, one of these factors we listed is going to cause them to move somewhere else. And that's fine too. Just like if you're only going to be here for a short period of time. So it's not that Portugal has to be your forever place.
Right. And just know that, no place is perfect and that there's so many variables. Maybe this other place might have a better thing or whatever. But, in the end, like our overall experience is so great. I'm sure maybe we can have a better experience somewhere else, but we're not going to gamble with that. We found our place.
Yeah, we're happy here and we're making the most of our lives here. And yeah, I think we are glass half full type of people.
Glass half full.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next video.